the sad state of the golf cart. It's been sitting here since vacation. It hasn't moved. And, well, we need to talk a little bit, guys. So it's now October. It's still broke. And it's been a catch-all for inside the garage. And I'm tired of it looking like this. So let's do something about it. So, I know what you're thinking, guys. I told you we're going to fix this. We're going to come back bigger and better. Or we're going to do something else with it. Well, we're definitely going to do something else with it. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But right now, I've got tons of stuff on here. And this is a junk mess. And I'm tired of living with this just sitting in the garage, not doing nothing. You know, I don't know. Let's just get started on today's video. So, I did take the hub off of the wheel here, and this is the shaft here that was on the spindle right there, and it completely just broke right off. I just hooked the battery back up because once I brought it home off vacation that next couple of days, I unhooked the battery and everything from the cart, put it in tow mode, turned it off, you know, just the whole 9 yards. Just hooked the battery back up, turned it on, pressed the gas. I didn't think the battery was going to be alive or it'd be charged up, but it moved. So we're going to try to move the golf cart out a little bit and clean up the garage, pull the golf cart back into the garage a little bit so we'll have an area to work on it and go from there. Got an old cooler. I wrapped our line a long time ago. Got jack. Trying to take up some room here. So when I made this lift kit initially, I welded this block here to this lower cradle portion here that was actually the lift kit before. So this right here was 6 inches, and then I added 6 inches to this. So in order to remove this one, I'm gonna have to cut it off here. I welded it to the lower portion up there to just give me some stability. With that being said, if you have a stock golf cart, you're not gonna have to do any of this kind of stuff. Basically, just unbolt this right here with the 4 bolts that's right underneath here. Once you unbolt those, we're gonna be able to drop this entire thing. But in my case, I'm gonna have to cut these welds all around this right here. So I'm not gonna bore you with that, but that's what I'm doing next. Broke the bolt right off because I'm not gonna include those when I go sell this thing. So I went ahead and took the wires off the front of the golf cart because I'm not gonna run the wheel lights on it again. That one over here, I just kind of yanked it off because it was bad to begin with. And this one over here, I'm taking my time, took all the wire out from the fuse box back. I can keep this for something else. That wheel light's still good. I'll keep this for something else. And when I move to the back, I'm gonna probably take the ones off the back as well. And then I'm gonna have to build one wheel light for something else. We might put these on the Cushman I don't know. All right, guys, as you can tell, there's no lift kit at all. I'm gonna put the new one on by Nokins coming up next. So this lift kit was a GTW that I had on the lifted limo, and this one is a Nokins, or Nokins. And when I was opening the box, I was thinking, wow, those heim joints look a lot bigger. I'm gonna put them side by side. This is the new arm. This is the old arm. As you can tell, it's dirty. Shock mounts. Look at the heim joint size here and the inserts in the threaded part. This one's much larger and it's more of a coarse thread. Even the inside of the heim joint is larger as well. So maybe something to think about when you're buying a lift kit. So we're gonna put these on as well. These heims here are massive, man. A lot bigger than the other ones. And the inputs for the spindles are a lot larger also, because they have these bigger bolts there to mount with. But did you notice this also? Did you notice that the old GTW has like nylon or polyurethane bushing, some type of rubber bushing? And this new one's got like I don't know if that's a brass or just a metal bushing. So we're looking at the entire kit. This arm is the same way. These are the same way on here. And the only bushing part on this new lift kit is where the spring contacts the lower control arm. So we're just gonna start off by placing the upper arms in the upper location here, using the factory hardware, and then we're gonna do to attach the shocks to it as well. Shocks are gonna be the same socket, 13 millimeter, I believe it is. Let me just double check that for you guys. 13 millimeter for the shock as well. Drop it into place. Use a 13 millimeter wrench on the back side so you can securely mount the bolt through the upper control arm here. Repeat the same process for the other side. All right, guys, the next thing we need to do is to get the supplied hardware that's included with the kit in this lower cradle in order to push it back up through the hole here. These bolts are gonna be a 13 millimeter in size. That's the socket you're gonna need to go between the toe plate, which is this piece right here. That's gonna go up underneath the kit. So the bolts are gonna go through that. Through the kit, we're gonna lift it up, hold it in place, and attach it to the lower portion of the golf cart. So let's do that next. I'm using my jack right now to lift this up. I don't have any jack stands high enough, so it might be a little difficult, but just bear with me. In your case, your golf cart won't have 35s on it to start out with, so your frame will be much lower to the ground during this process. You won't have 35s on the back of your golf cart probably.
There. Lift your side up a little, Bruno.
Okay. All right, let go. All right, so I was able to get my kids out here to help me hold this in place since it is elevated above normal, so we can kind of lower it back down here in just a little bit. But they was able to help me hold this bottom plate up onto the golf cart, you know what I mean, so I could get it mounted. So that's that. Yeah, looks good. The bolts went through there. They're holding. I'm gonna go and probably just hand tighten them here, and just make sure they're tightened as much as possible. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the spindles on next. Also, if you're wondering what these are down here, these are stops right here, so you don't turn the tire and the wheel too far. That stop rests up against this little angle piece right here. Just another neat little feature that's included with this kit. So with these bolts here, we're gonna use some of this thread locker. I'm gonna put this on there and screw into place, and do it on the bottom as well. I'm gonna use a 10mm Allen key to tighten down the spindle upper and lower bolt. All right, that's good. Next, we're just gonna repeat the same process for the driver's side. Now we have everything together. What I'm gonna do next is go ahead and put the hubs back on to the new spindles here and put the tires on, and then do the back lift kit. All right, guys, got the golf cart turned around. Pretty sure this is a new look, don't you reckon? No, just kidding. Anyways, I put the 27s on here. The 27s still rub on the inner lip up here. So I'm not gonna be driving on it with that. I just use those to turn around. I'm gonna be getting some 23s and probably 14s for this very soon, but that's what it looks like right now. Let's continue the back of it. Man, I remember when this was smaller than this one here, but these 33s look pretty good on there. Not sure what we're gonna do with that one either. So, all right, guys, let's get started on the back now. All right, guys, this is the next day. We need to go ahead and remove this big block kit I have there. When I went from 6 to 12, and we need to put a 6-inch kit on there. I did put these transport wheels on here so I can move it back and forth. So I also got some wheels and tires for it. We'll be installing them a little bit later on. So before I take the lift blocks that I made off, the next thing we need to do is take these stabilizer bars off. They were added after I made the lift block because the lift block was so tall that when you hit the accelerator, the spring allowed the rear axle to kind of pivot back and forth. And those are there. Basically what they did was allow the axle to stay in place, kind of like a 4-link suspension. And you know, the spring was the suspension. It also helped keep the axle centered, but the bars kept it stabilized the entire process. You don't need that with like a little 6-inch kit, but as tall as this right here was, we definitely needed it. So next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove those from the cart before we take the blocks off and start actually jacking this thing up in place. The thing is, I could probably just cut these because I'm not going to be using them again. I used all thread when I lifted this up 12 inches, and I did that because I couldn't find a U-bolt strong enough. So to start out with, I want to say we use 3/8 all thread to start with. That didn't last but a night, and then I went back to Lowe's. I want to say this is either 1/2 inch or 5/8 thick all thread, and that's what I used on that lift kit. So if you're wondering, that's what it was. I guess we could cut it in the middle because I probably won't use it again for anything, but I don't know. While we're here, let's just go ahead and take it off. That's the lift block here that I made. Basically, I took I think this was the 6-inch original lift kit. Then I had 3 pieces of 1.5 by 1.5, and I cut them in my length. I think it was 6 inches in length. Welded them 3 together, welded them on top of the factory block there in order to give me a lift, you know. So that's what I did. This is the new lift block, pretty much same as the last one. We're just gonna put it in the spot there, and it's just gonna go right on top of the axle. Like so. We need to get the axle up to the bottom of the leaf spring. Then this is the top plate here. This plate will actually go on top of the leaf spring, And if you run a shock on the back of your golf cart, you can put the shock into there. Most of you already know that. But I don't run shocks on the back of my golf carts. I just think that the springs are so stiff to begin with. I really don't run shocks on the back of none of my golf carts. And it comes with a new U-bolt, and we're just gonna drop that in place as well through that same thing. It's gonna go on top of the leaf spring like so here, and that shock is going to be mounted towards the back, I do believe, like that. And then we'll run our U-bolt down like that. We'll match the nipple that's on the bottom of the leaf spring to the hole here in the block. We'll run this right here, U-bolt through the bottom bracket. Once everything lines up, we'll put the bolts on them, tighten them down, and you're done. Pretty simple. After we get this right here done, we're gonna move on to the other side as well. All right, guys, the lift kit is now complete. You see, here's the block, the U-bolt, the top plate here. Notice the top plate, the nipple from the leaf spring goes inside of it. The nipple from the leaf spring goes into the bottom block as well. If you don't do that, it may start to walk. We call it in South here, dog walking a little bit, walking cattywampus, whatever. But that's the driver's side there. And that's the passenger side. Everything is in place. And remember, I told you earlier, I don't run shocks on the back of my golf carts. You can, that's up to you, but I don't. So, next thing is Coils and Tires. So we're going with 14-inch wheels, 23-inch tires. And that's the pattern I went for. These right here are brand new, and they cost me $350, wheels and tires. Now, if you're thinking, how can I get these over here for $350? Okay, here's the deal. My local golf cart shop is a candy cart dealer. Candy carts are the same kind of carts they sell at Lowe's and some other places, maybe different names. These are takeoffs, factory takeoffs. So the style, you know, might have not been what I wanted, but I only paid $350 for them with some hub covers as well. The tires are new, and this is what I'm going to be putting on Big Blue, or Little Blue now. What do y'all think? Anyways, let's go ahead and get this right here on and see what it looks like. All right, guys, so there it is. I took it on a test drive to make sure everything felt right, and it did. So, how do I feel about it? Well, for what it is, I think it looks pretty decent. I still prefer my 35s and 18s on it, but I haven't driven it since vacation. And the reason I did all of this is, you probably could guess it, I'm about to put it for sale. And the reason I'm about to put it for sale, because a few years ago I picked up a Club Car DS Factory Villager 8. And it's actually a gasoline powered vehicle, or it was a gas powered vehicle, same as this one. And I just think it's time to, you know, here's the deal. Being up that tall on 35s, I was okay with this and this. I hated my children sitting back here, okay? I just hated that. So this is fine. So what I'm planning on with the DS, and that should be coming, you know, pretty soon, maybe this week, we might start getting it out, cleaning it up, starting to work on it a little bit. But this has been a fun cart, and we still need to do some more work to it this week. I'm thinking about doing some uprights, maybe a top. We need to clean it up. Thinking about redoing the floorboard because I don't like that. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect golf cart. Probably gonna leave the lithium battery that's in it, which is the big battery Husky 103 amp, 105 amp, I can't remember. Probably going to take the subwoofer out of it. Save it for something else. May put it in my daughter's truck. I'm not sure. Probably going to take the Navitas out of it as well. But it's almost there to make right. So that's what I wanted to do first. I wanted to make right on the lift kit. I still need to put the front bumper back on it. I took the wheel lights off of it. And there's, it's been a fun cart. I've enjoyed it. But like everything else in life, we need to move on. I've always hated change, but I think I'm gonna like change. I can't wait. I got some things planned. Not sure if we're gonna keep the 35s for the DS or drop them back down to 33s. I'm not sure, but blue has always been my favorite color. My wife likes blue, but I think on the next cart, we need to go, I don't know, something bright. So anyways, until next episode, guys, we'll see y'all later. Oh, and let's get a rolling shot so y'all can see what this looks like.